Hello, welcome to Astrology Study Group. And I've been wanting to do some more videos on people. And I've been wanting to look at Tucker Carlson and also look at the aspects of what's going on with him. This is, what, about a week and a half or so. Today's the vernal equinox. We're on the 21st of March. And what was it, like about a week or so ago that he had uh, those video, I mean, his uh, expose on the January 6th footage. There we go. He was given all those hours. He asked for it, of footage. And then now it's also been, I think his first day, what was it? It came out and kind of was a lot. The second day, they kind of were all like, oh, we can't have him do this. So they started to backpedal, and we'll see where that goes. But what's the guy's name that owns Fox? What's his name? Oh gosh, it escapes me at the moment because I'm thinking about astrology. But yeah, he was starting to get nervous about that. So that yeah, they started to lighten that, but it's coming out nonetheless. So I just wanted to look at, sometimes timing of things is very interesting. So I'm going to go back. Let's see, we're at the 21st here. Well, let's just look at and orient ourselves to him, and then just look at. There's a couple of things that just pop right out. But anyway, he's a Taurus and moon in. I mean, a sun and moon in Taurus. So it was, just a little bit after. I mean, just a teeny bit after the new moon. So he was born at a new beginning. So he came into life um, grounded, and moving forward. I would say, it's like he started that cycle because there's new moon, so he gets going. Um, anyway, so that's congruent, and then there's Mercury in a Gemini in its home sign ahead of those two. So it's kind of like they're babies out there, that's mine, just a growing and just an accumulating. And there we have um, that soft Cancer rising, that care, that with that, that home and family exterior, that he's got that concern. That's what he's outward to do. Maybe that's what drives him and motivation. Who knows? It's hard to look at for the moment. But then um, we see a few things. We have that nice grounding, and then that real active mind. And then I want to go see his Saturn. It's also there in Taurus, a grounded Saturn, a somebody's values that are down to earth. And look at that's up there in his 10th house. Wow, of what he does. So he's putting his values up there, or that authoritarian, or conservative, or you know because it's also in harmony with the ascendant. We have that earth, and sextile, or I mean, yeah, it would be an earth, yeah, it's an earth sextile over to his rising sign, earth and water. So that's very interesting. And then we have Venus up there, okay? And I'm looking at the inner chart. That's his birth chart. And the outer one is where the planets are now. Well, we'll get there. So Venus, over there in outward expressive, exuberant Aries. Very interesting. So that's what gives him I think, some of that flair. He gets a little, um, emotional. uh, so it just it flows over there. So that's interesting. But now, I mean, what I want to look at today is, well, a few things. We have his Chiron over there in Aries as well, and we know that the present um, planets, we have this whole pile up of things going through Aries. So first, like today on the 21st, we have Mercury, going right over his Chiron, and then transiting Chiron going over his Venus. Look at that, almost to both of them to the degree. So this is very interesting. So Chiron's all about the wounded healer, healing, bringing, and then here he is bringing information um, about the wounded healers, about the wounded, about the that date, all the people that have been disregarded, thrown in solitary confinement for not doing, anything, trespass, being led into the capital, all about that. Anyway, I don't want to get into it with this, but I just, bringing this up, that he's, you have to look at things from sometimes a few perspectives. So here's again Mercury communications going over his Chiron. So something that he's got some strong beliefs on, it's going over something maybe he found, it's personal, and then it's Aries. So he's bringing that out right now. How interesting, right? And then President Chiron, more healing, going over his Venus values, where he sees that. So it's kind of like it's almost the same thing, even though there's two different planets, but it's bringing communication to that area. And I think that's very profound. And, we just had the moon, and the sun and the moon, going over his north node. And then also, um, what is that planet here? Neptune is about to conjunct. It's within, the ingress. It's like within 2 degrees. Neptune is going over his north node, so he's going to be getting that intuitive insights, from Neptune. Getting that feel of things. So I would tend to trust this information based on looking at his astrology. Totally, I would think he's totally credible with this. Just saying, looking at that, Okay, moving on with this. We also have current transiting North Node going over his Saturn. It reinforces that to me. So North Node, where you're going, Saturn straightening it out. Look at that. It's at 2 degrees. And it's going to back up. Go over that. It's ingressing over that now. So he's got North Node transiting North Node over his Saturn. Again, bringing that North Node is bringing that authority to him, the transiting North Node, that solidity. It's bringing it that he can bring that out. And then his transiting Neptune is going over his North Node, having the sensitivity and the insight and intuition to follow his intuition. So that he's got a few pairings of some really interesting stuff up here. And then Jupiter just went over his Venus. Look at, I didn't have room for it. Venus right now is in the midpoint of Chiron and Jupiter. Look how close it is, 14, 15, 16. So, this little lineup here is pretty interesting, but Jupiter just went over that. So that he brought out some big information about people, about things people care about, and brought it out in a big way. Just went, blah, here it is. Whoa. What an Aryan way to do, here we go. So this is very interesting looking at how astrology can, you see what's going on with people. So let's look a little further. This is kind of right now, but I kind of wanted to see this, and I thought, well, since I'm looking at it, I'll just record this and share it with everybody. Okay, so Pluto, we know is going to go into, let me go days. Pluto's going to go, there we go, into the next sign, and that will be where I was just looking at. So we have a square, Pluto squaring, transiting Pluto will be squaring his Saturn. So he's coming up against, authority and transition, so Pluto transition, and then he's got his stable Saturn over here in Taurus. So, this square to me is like he's challenging the system, and he's bringing out this, these plutonic things. He's getting to the bottom of it. He's creating change. He's looking at this transformation. Pluto is always hard. So when it's in square to something, that's definitely a hard thing. So he's probably getting hit pieces on him. He's probably getting pressure, because he's challenging challenging that system. And this is going to be in aspect for a while with him, right? He's getting heat now because Pluto's there. Then Pluto will back off when it goes back into Capricorn, and then it will, trine his Saturn by sign, but not by degree. And then next year it'll ingress in again, and so more things may happen next year. We'll have to see. Have to see then. But we're looking right now. Okay, so what else do we have with him? We've got transiting Neptune also making a trine over to his natal Neptune, and as it moves in there, I think this is going to tighten his intuitive hits, his intuitive flashes. I've had going through this myself and experiencing that. So we got 25 degrees Pisces right now, and then he's got 27 degrees Scorpio. So it's getting closer, so a Pluto, I'm sorry, a Neptune trine is um is very good for tuning into your own spiritual insights. All right, what else does he have going on? So that's bits another thing that's, I would say, affirming what we see with going on with him. So let's see what else we got. We got 3 degrees. We talked about that already. Okay, so he's got these things at late degrees. Um, so Neptune over here to his sun and moon is making a nice angle. Neptune is exactly sextile his sun. Again, more intuition, you know, bringing that, and in his moon too. So it's bringing that, acting on what you know to be right, maybe, even though it's painful, with this square going on with the Pluto and uh, Saturn. Sorry, my mind's not calling planets out tonight. Okay, so yeah, so that's interesting. So again, the transiting Pluto, I mean Neptune over to his natal sun and moon, making a nice sextile, a 60-degree aspect. All right, what else? Anything else? This Neptune would be opposing his Pluto. It just got done opposing it, and it's going to be opposing his Jupiter. So it was at 22 degrees, and there we go. So there was his, another way of challenging the system, taking things out of the fog, right? Clearing up information. If we got Pluto, his Pluto's in Virgo, and then Neptune, in its own sign of trying to be foggy and to mush out and to forget. Well, no, 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 not with this stuff in Virgo. Kind of reminds me a little bit of DeSantis with all that, some of that Virgo stuff. So that's just somebody just nitpicking in your face, you know. And look at that. It's going to go over. It just went over his Pluto. It just opposed his Pluto. Neptune did. And it's just about on the dawn of opposing his Jupiter. So there's some big stuff, opposing Jupiter. He's going to affect masses. I mean, masses are going to get this. And then it's going to oppose that south node. So it's like a spiritual battle, I think, for him. It seems like it's a spiritual battle. Wow, that's deep. I didn't expect that. And then as Neptune, when it goes into the next sign, it will then oppose his Uranus. So then we have some more unexpected kinds of things, and that will hit him in another year-ish or so when I think it's 2025 when Neptune moves into Aries. So yeah, that will be interesting. Okay, but what else now? Let's see. Did we look at most of the things now that are important? I'm probably forgetting something. Those are big. Oh, the 0 degrees. Oh, okay. So we got his Uranus, and what would this be doing? Let's see. So we have a mutable, and so we have an inconjunct with transiting Saturn over his Uranus. So here, um, this is his show. His stuff got pulled out of the blue, kind of. It's just sort of like, nope. We're reaching some authority. Can't do it this way. And who knows? I don't know exactly what's all going behind the scenes. What else is he going to do? But there's definitely disharmony with the establishment, or Saturn or strictures, but there's something radical that's come out of it because we got the planet of Uranus there. So that will be interesting to watch. And then it's trining over to Pluto. So that is, I think, even more powerful because Pluto is going to be even there longer, and it's going to be back and forth making that trine, the air sign to air sign over to his Uranus. So we're going to watch him for coming with things more out of the blue, bringing stuff up from the depths, and really pushing transformation. So we can definitely see that. Anything else? Let's see. Mercury is trining his Mars right now, just about as Mercury goes more, it's, up here in Aries, and his Mars is in, 14 Sag. Mercury's right on his vertex. So there may be some fated communications or fateful communications or something like that going on for him. Duh. Okay. But then Mercury making a trine over to his Mars. Look, it's giving him energy to communicate this stuff. Wow. I knew that there was something kind of timing with this. I mean, I just, this, all the stuff that he just brought out, whether you agree or not, you can see the astrology in action. All right, I guess that's all that, we can, I mean, we can zero in, but I just kind of wanted to make this a short little thing, how we can look at um, the current transits and somebody's chart and just kind of get a little looky see. All right, hope you enjoyed that, and we look forward to some more. All right, bye for now.